she's not where Scott is. She's in the opposite, like, rival city than Scott. So anyway, and I heard Harbaugh's probably, he signed a big extension, so I'm sure everybody's excited up your way.
Oh yeah, yeah. People are excited. I actually am a Penn State fan. I went
Nice.
there for my bachelor's degree, and then ended up getting my doctorate at U of M. But I'm totally all Penn State.
Good deal. Good deal. They've had some good
Yeah,
years lately.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
that someday I have some bucket list things I want to do because I love college football. I mean, it's the best. Like, I got to do a whiteout game at Penn State. Like,
Oh,
just happy
they're
about
the best. Yeah, yeah. They're the best. I was there at that 2016 game when we were unranked and we upset Ohio State, who was number 2 at the time. That was the craziest game I've been at. That was a lot of fun.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's just one of those things. Like, it looks so cool on TV when you watch it, but it's one of those things
Yeah,
like it's gotta be 10 times better just being there. Like, yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's great.
that's totally on my bucket list. Got a few things, and that's definitely there. Okay, so we'll get going. Holy cow, 2041. This will be for Monday. Hello to Margie and Herschel and the Herberts. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. Here we go. And if you hear anything in the background, it's just the wind. We have a lot of wind going on right now. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 2041 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel and the president of the Be Our Guest Podcast. Just kidding. I'm just the host. But it is President's Day here in the United States. Happy President's Day to you. Hope you're having a nice day off. If that is what you get. I'll be working. I know a lot of us are still working, and that's what we do. But if you're, one of those people, the lucky dogs that get off today, enjoy it and don't rub it in too hard on the rest of us. But we're all here together anyhow with a fun trip report, and we've got kind of a double dose today. We're going to kind of split it down the middle, 2 trips, 1 show, lots of fun. And joining us from up in, I say it all the time, ever since I met Scott, I just got to use the mitten because it makes sense once you see it. I never heard of it. It didn't make sense. So I was like, oh, now I see it. So anyway, up in the mitten, up in Michigan, we have listener Sarah. Sarah, how you doing today?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
I am doing great. And you guys look like, winter's not over up your way. It looks like it's holding on with a little snow and crazy weather up there as well.
Yeah, unfortunately not. I think we're going to get a little bit more tonight and into tomorrow.
Well, it just makes spring all the sweeter when it gets here, right? I just got to hang in
Yep.
there. All right, so we're going to talk about 2 trips. These are going to be fun. I can't wait to dive into them. But before we do that, jump into some of your background as a Disney fan. What has you listening to a Disney podcast? What has you being a Disney fan? Did it start at a young age? Was something later in life? How come about?
Yeah, yeah. I went a few times when I was a kid. My grandparents lived in Winter Haven, Florida for a little bit. So that's about halfway between Tampa and Orlando. So we went down to visit them and went to Disney a few times. And then, when I started making my own money when I was in college, my sister and I started to go by ourselves. And I bought into DVC just, last year, the year before. And we've been going at least once a year for a few years now. So I've really enjoyed that. And, I grew up loving the movies and the parks and everything. I actually found the podcast during the pandemic, during the first part of the pandemic. So I was hooked since then. So this is really cool being on the podcast now.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad you found it. It was one of those things that, when it was, and Alfred's in here too, and he was calling in every night. We had those nightly live, they called them the community check-ins, because I'll be honest, it seems like it was forever ago at this point, but it really wasn't that long ago. But I just didn't know what to do. There was nothing to do. Travel was basically shut down, and I was worried about all my friends. And so we just every night from like 6 to 7:30 here, I just came down to the basement. We went live. We took calls. We talked about Disney. We talked about life, and it was kind of crazy. But yeah, it's guns blazing with travel right now. So I'm glad that we have kind of pursued and pushed through, and knock on wood, things will get better and better each day. But it's good stuff. Let me ask you one other thing, because you're a Disney fan, big time Disney fan. If you could bring back something from the past that's gone away, it's 50th anniversary, you have the power, you get to bring back anything. What are you bringing back? I love hearing the answer to this question.
Yeah. I was a big movie or great movie ride fan. So I'd bring that back, and I still would want, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So I would just move it somewhere else.
Right. Why do we have to
Yeah.
give up one to get something? I know, I'm with you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. I love that ride. It was I think it was special because the cast members kind of made it, and it was just not that Mickey and Minnie's isn't great, because it is, like you said, but you would explain it to somebody and you were writing the movies,
Yeah.
I still love seeing
Yeah.
the person touch the jewel, it's
Right. Yeah. Very cool experience. Very unique. So I kind of wish we still had that, but it new stuff comes along and old stuff goes away, unfortunately. But I was a fan of that.
Okay, just real quick, just for my personal, and this, I will let this go soon, not today.
Okay.
Harmonious or Illuminations? Where do you fall?
Illuminations.
There you go. Good answer.
Yeah.
Disney's sending out surveys, so I'm surveying my guests too. Anyway, all right. So,
Yeah.
2 trips to talk about. Let's talk about your trip you took last July. And first of all, tell us about your accommodation, because we kind of hit the jackpot talking about this. We have not talked about Grand Villas on this podcast in like 14 years, and now, boom, twice in a row. So you stayed in a Grand Villa. How about that?
Yes, yeah. Saratoga Springs, we stayed at in a 3-bedroom Grand Villa. It was awesome. They were just freshly remodeled, I think within the last year or two. Very nice. It's a double-decker place, so it's got an upstairs, 3 bedrooms, like full kitchen, full dining room, laundry area. It had a small balcony. It was beautiful, and it had another bed like in where the TV room is. So I think it said it slept up to 12.
Wow.
I had 7 people with me. It was like an apartment. It was really, that's what it reminded me of. It was like a city apartment that has an upstairs in it.
Okay, so I'm always curious about this, because when we talked to the guests just a couple of weeks ago, it was Thanksgiving and it was extended family. It was, that's kind of how they all got together for Thanksgiving, and they did go to the parks. They brought the food in. They watched football. It was like, city living at Walt Disney World. What was the vibe like for you guys, the group of 7? I mean, how'd you plan it out? And like, was this the goal to hang out there? How did it change the trip?
Yeah, so I planned everything. I'm the planner. We did not go to any parks with the exception of Blizzard Beach.
That's unusual.
It was over the 4th of July, like the 2nd through the 6th. So we hung out at the pool at Disney Springs and at Blizzard Beach, and we had a great time. So I planned everything, and it was, my immediate family and a couple of family friends.
So you took advantage, though, looking at the notes of being at Saratoga. It is so convenient to just walk right across there over to Disney Springs. I mean,
yeah,
I've heard people say that when you say at Saratoga, like, there's not a lot of dining. You have Turf Club, and you don't have a whole lot of other things. But I tell people, no, you have like so many dining options. You just walk around. I mean, it's a little bit of a walk, but it's beautiful. You got the waters right there. So
yeah.
Is that kind of how you guys took it? I mean, you had the world's greatest food court right there, kind of behind you.
Right, it is. It's Disney's best food court. It's Disney Springs. So yeah, we walked over there for quite a few meals. There is bus service throughout Saratoga Springs that goes to Disney Springs, which I was kind of surprised about at first. But there's about 5 different bus stops throughout Saratoga Springs. And there is a bus that goes to Disney Springs. So if you are not a walker or runner, there's that option too. You just may have to wait a little bit longer. But from where we're in the paddock section, and that was a 15 to 20 minute walk over to Disney Springs. So we hit up there for quite a few meals, and then we also did Instacart for a few groceries. And that worked out really well too.
Yeah, it's crazy when you have, because we stayed and this is the only time I've stayed super. And then I consider this fancy. We split a 2-bedroom villa at Old Key West with Scott's family, because he's DVC, and we did the same thing. Like, we went on a grocery run, and we have to use the kitchen. Like, we're here, so we got cookie dough. We made cookies. We sat on the patio. Stuff like that. I mean, it does kind of change, though, how you vacation from like a Pop Century stay or Riverside or anything else, because the hotel room's a place to sleep and to change clothes and to, refresh. But when you're there with friends and you have, like a living space, a hangout space, it's so much fun. Let me ask you about Blizzard Beach though. So you guys went over there.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in years. I mean, we used to go all the time back in the day before, like when it was part of the tickets, the Ultimate Park Hopper days. God, this forever ago at this point. But I mean, my younger daughter's always like, why do I see so many pictures of Paige, her older sister, at the water parks? And I'm like, because back then it was a part of the ticket. Now we got to pay extra, so we don't have it on our annual passes. But, we used to do some at Plummet, and we did toboggan racers and all that stuff. So what were some highlights for you guys?
We went there on the 4th of July, and I expected it to be very crowded, and it actually was very manageable. We got there a little bit after it opened, and rented a locker. They have towels for you in the gift shops if you're a resort guest. You don't have to pay a deposit or anything for them. You just return them at the end of the day. We were able to find a kind of a shaded area with a bunch of chairs in the sand in front of the wave pool fairly easily. We didn't reserve a cabana or anything like that, which just, first come, first serve. It was near one of the bars, right in front of the wave pool kind of. So, I mean, that area I would say is like a lot of people walk by there, and we were still able to get chairs, not getting there like real early, but from there, we went in the wave pool. My sister and I hit all the slides. We got into the lazy river. Everybody loved the lazy river.
Lazy river's the best.
It is. Yeah.
But I mean, that's my style. Like, I'm lazy and I'm on a river. 4th of July. I mean, America right there.
Yeah. It was great. Lazy river is my favorite part. That one that it goes around the entire outside of the water park. That's awesome. And then, and somebody got tired of that, they could get out and take a nap on the beach chair. Right. Yeah, all of the lines for the slides weren't bad at all. Some at Plummet, that line wasn't bad. They did end up shutting down the ski lift thing to get to the top of Mount Gushmore, I think is what they call it.
Yep.
Because there was lightning in the area, but I didn't personally see any, and it was not until 5:30 in the evening. And they closed like 15 minutes early, I think, because it started raining and there was lightning in the area. But it was a great day. It was hot. It was a perfect Blizzard Beach day.
That's great.
I think it was just a good time. Nobody else in my family had been there except for me, and I was there. Last time was 2017, and nothing really changed from the last time I was there, but. It was a fun time and everybody enjoyed it. There's something for everybody. Even if you just want to kind of hang out in the sand, grab a margarita.
Right.
Everybody I feel like could enjoy Blizzard Beach.
I mean,
it's
like a pool day, but there's a lot more to
Yeah.
do. I mean, it's a really nice pool day with a lot of activity. It's an active pool day rather than just sitting around.
Mhm.
In the theme park, you're going to be very hot. You're going to be kind of waiting around all day for the fireworks on the 4th of July. It's going to be a lot of work and a lot of heat in a theme park. So you kind of I like it. It was kind of a nice compromise, right? You were in a place where you could get a lot, do a lot of stuff, be active, but you could also chill and just have a margarita in hand to be in a beach chair. I like
yeah. It was.
And I never even think about like a water park on the 4th of July. That's a great call. That's a good way to think.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun. We used Disney's transportation to get there and back. No issues with that at all. You transfer at Animal Kingdom. No big deal. Buses were, running pretty well, about 20 minutes apart. We just had a great time. It was a nice change of pace. Like not expecting, we already knew we weren't going to go to any of the theme parks, but everybody was on board with Blizzard Beach. So I'm glad we went and, everybody kind of did what they wanted and, had a great time.
Good call, man. Mallory still wants to go. Maybe we'll go. We're down for cheer here in April, and the ticket situation is really weird because I have an annual pass still because I renewed. They do not have one because I didn't renew them, and now they can't get one. Sounds like an opportunity to go to a water park.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll, but to be honest, I kind of prefer Typhoon Lagoon. I don't know, like I'm a Typhoon Lagoon guy, but
Yeah.
Because the two for people that haven't gone, the two wave pools are very different. Typhoon Lagoon is kind of calm, and then a horn blows, and then like you get killed by a tsunami. Like no kidding. Like
Yeah.
glasses will end up 7 miles away. Like you get blasted. Your kid will end up 3 miles down the way, and like you just don't know where they are. But it over Blizzard Beach, it's just like a constant. You almost could get seasick. I think I did almost get seasick one time. I was on the clear tube, just up and down, up and down. I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. That's definitely. I agree. Yeah. Completely agree.
It's like I've had enough of this. I'm getting in the lazy river where there's no waves. Okay, so before we jump out of this one, you did some great dining though while you were over at Disney Springs. Some of the places that you ate: Boathouse, Weinbart George, Homecoming, Raglan Road. So looking back, like was one restaurant a standout over the others? Any highlights there? City Works also was in there. Anything else?
Yeah. Boathouse is a family favorite, so everybody in my family loves it. There's something for everybody. Whether seafood, steaks, somebody wants a hamburger, they can get that.
Sliders.
Yes, the sliders are great there. I actually will say that this is a controversial opinion, but the sliders at Boathouse are better than City Works. I've tried both on this trip.
Yeah, I can get in there just because it's actually more my vibe at City Works. It's looking at the place from the outside. I got to give it a shot. And we will over cheerleading weekend because we're at a Disney Springs hotel. Good Lord, again, I hate it. They never asked me. We always stay offsite at a Disney Springs. We're at a Holiday Inn this time. Oh my gosh, you're killing me. Yeah, so I will. City Works is on the agenda. So I'm glad to know that though. So I'll have to give it a shot. I didn't even know they had sliders. So even though they're better at Boathouse, I'll give them a shot and I'll let you know.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Boathouse, we go every trip. We try to hit there. I'd never been to Raglan Road or to City Works or to Homecoming. Like all of those are new to us except for Boathouse.
You also said you went to a brunch at Weinbart George.
Yes.
Real quick, just about that. Because I haven't been there either. It just sounds so fancy, but then I looked at the menu the other day and they got like biscuits and gravy and like foods I would like, because to me it seemed like a place that would just have like wines and like cheese and like little meats. That's like when I hear Weinbart George, it seems like Mike Rallman from Missouri does not belong in this place. But then I was like, oh, biscuits and gravy. Mike Rallman definitely belongs in this place. So what was your overall thoughts on brunch at Weinbart George?
Yeah, I booked it because my sister and my mom are big wine fans. They're big wine people. And when you're done with your meal, they'll give you something in a to-go cup to walk around with. You don't have to just go to the to-go window.
Oh, nice.
But everybody loved it. The food is really good. They have omelets and the biscuits and gravy, and they have waffles. So it's not super it sounds fancy, but it's not. Like when you go in there. George actually seated us. He's pretty nice.
Everybody said
he's there often.
Yeah. That guy must live there because like everybody talking to like,
yeah.
George met me. I'm like, George is the hardest working guy at Disney Springs. I'm just telling you.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. So it's a really cool place. It's I would say that it's got a laid back vibe. Anybody can walk in there. You don't have to be dressed up. The food is fairly simple. Like it's nothing too fancy. I feel like kids could find something there to eat. Even they've got like those mac and cheese balls and
nice.
And the waffles and stuff like that. It was a good time there too.
You are filling out my April dining agenda right here for cheerleading. It'll be over at ESPN. Then we got to hustle back to Disney Springs. Got to go to City Works. Got to go to Weinbart George. And my wife will be like, "You want to go to Weinbart George?" I'm like, "Trust me. I've got it on good authority. Biscuits and gravy, good food, not too fancy."
Yes.
Good. So yeah, that'll be awesome. Okay, I want to get into this other trip in October because it was a lot longer, and I want to make sure we cover both trips. That was a great 4th of July trip, man. 4th of July will be here before you know it, even though we still have snow on the ground.
Right. Yeah.
So you went down again in October. Now this is a different trip because obviously that trip was pre-Genie Plus. October, Genie Plus was in effect. It's only been in effect for a few weeks at that point, pretty new. Right. And you stayed at the beach club for one night and then switched over to the Riviera. So just give us a quick beach club. The one night was just like you got there, just need to add that on, or is that why you ended up there?
Yep. So first night Riviera was not available. I booked beach club. And then after we spent the night there, we spent the day at their Stormalong Bay.
Say that's the
Yep,
perfect way to do
yep,
it. That's why you stay there.
yep, yep. And then we sent the suitcases over with the hotel courier, and then we rode the Skyliner over later that night when the room was ready. So it worked out really nice. I had a pool day, and it was hot as blazes. Like it was probably 90 degrees. We were all sweating, like sitting there. The server from the bar, he was awesome. That guy, he was running all over. Anything we wanted, he'd go and get. Like he was an awesome guy. I wish I could remember his name. But he was sweating, like you could see, like when the locals are sweating, it's hot.
Right.
So, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not just laughing at the folks like us that are from up north, like
Yeah.
No, wait, that was the bar at Beach Club or the bar with the Riv?
The beach club.
Okay, so probably Hurricane.
Yeah, Stormalong Bay, Hurricane Hannah's. Yeah. Yeah.
Love that. We got a good buffalo chicken wrap there that I really like.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You want to have that on a hot day though, because that thing's hot as it is. Then you're sweating twice. It's smoking.
Yeah.
That's a great. I was wondering though, because I
Yeah.
saw you added that beach club at the front for one night. I'm like, you know what I'd do? I did exactly what you just said. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, totally.
Put over the Riviera, but I'd take that next day and just stay at Stormalong Bay.
Yes.
Go over there.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so what were your thoughts on the Riviera? Because we, again, one of the newest hotels still at this point, and it's so fancy. And again, I say fancy not in a bad way, but it's so nice. Like I got to stay there one night with Scott. I've spent time there. I've had dinners there. I love Primo Piatto. It's fancy, but it's comfortable at the same time to me. But you got to stay there for a long stay. What was it like being a guest for an extended stay at the Riviera?
Yeah, it was really, really nice. It is one of my favorite resorts, in Florida that they have. The front desk crew was very nice, very helpful. As always, I felt like that Disney hospitality was in full force there. We had a studio and a 1-bedroom booked, and from my understanding, I thought it was supposed to be like an adjoin or like a connecting room. And when I got there, they were across the hallway, and I asked if there was any way they had, they call it a lock-off villa, if they could do that. And there's two different people who looked for me, and I thought that was great because they could have just said, "Oh no, we don't have that." But I was really appreciative of all the staff there. Everybody was super nice. The hotel itself is beautiful. The location is great. You can't beat it. They have great dining on site there. The pools are nice. They're fairly plain. There's not a whole lot going on there, but very nice. Brand new pools there. Skyline. Our room was on the 3rd floor facing the Skyliner, and so we could just walk a little bit down the hall and down the stairs, and the Skyliner entrance was right there. We could see Harmonious from our balcony.
Nice.
It was that close. And even if you didn't want to go outside, you could see it out the window as well. The location was great. You can't beat it.
That's so cool. Yeah.
So yeah.
The Riviera is a neat hotel. Mallory definitely wants to stay there because she's been through there, and she was sold on the mosaic, in that little archway. Walking in from the Skyliner, like I got to stay here because she, took 12,000 pictures for Instagram, and So, but again, when you have a 14-year-old daughter, she's got the fancy tastes. Like Pop Century's left her behind. I'm like, Pop Century is awesome. It's even better. All-star Sports, it's even better. But she's all in the Riviera, so gonna have to make it happen. Dad's gonna have to work a little harder. So anyway, so you stayed there. Now let me ask you about your time in the parks real quick, because you have all this background of fast pass days and then no fast pass because of COVID and all that stuff, and then bam, your first time back using Genie Plus, paid for some individual lightning lanes. What was your impression? What was the learning curve like? Did it improve your theme park experience? Give your thoughts on that.
It actually, I got an email that, it was going to go live only a few days after we were checking in, or sorry, before we were checking in. So it was going to be new for everybody. And, I, read up a little bit on how it was supposed to work. At Disney World, you can actually purchase it, I think, the night before.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be like after you enter the park. So that was actually a plus. I liked, being able to choose it per day, not for like the entirety of your ticket. I like that you can have that option, not to have it one day and you can add it another day. I have an annual pass, so I had to add it to mine separately from like the rest of my party who nobody else has the annual pass. That wasn't that big of a deal. It's just, it's an extra step that you should be aware of.
Right. You got to kind of walk
Um,
everybody through it. And here's how you do it,
yeah,
kind of thing. It's I'm the
yeah,
same boat. I'm in the same boat because like I
yeah,
haven't asked somebody else does. Yeah.
yeah. So I actually really liked it. It didn't malfunction for me at all on my phone. Um, I knew like it's probably going to have some bugs here and there to start out with, but I didn't have any issues with it at all. Um, like I said, I bought it for everybody, and then we did some individual lightning lanes as well, like we Rise, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Um, I think there was one in Frozen Ever After.
Hmm.
And it worked. I liked having the option to just skip the line. Some people are you don't want to pay for it. That's fine. You don't have to. It's an option. So I like having that option. Like some days I'm not going to want to pay the extra to skip the line. I'll just stand in the line. But I had my parents and my grandmother, and I didn't want to have them stand there all day. So we did that so they could experience, some of the headliners, and it worked out great. I really liked it. I didn't have any issues or, tech problems with it at all.
That's a great point. I mean, somebody was asking me, I get this. I mean, you don't know how many times a week I get this question, working as a travel agent, should I get the Genie Plus? And somebody asked me just today as we're recording, they have a 2-year-old child, should I get it? And I said, well, at the Magic Kingdom, I would get it your first day because, I didn't get it when I was down over Marathon weekend. And like, for example, I was at the studios and I was going to buy an individual lightning lane for Rise. Actually, Scott was trying to get it for us, and it just like, there was a glitch and it sold out like real fast that day. So we
Mhm.
didn't get it. We were going to pay the like $15 or whatever. We didn't get it. So I just got up early in the morning. I was there super early, got in the standby line. It was like an hour wait, but it was just me. Nobody else was there. And I didn't have anything else to do. I didn't, I'd run the race already that day. I had nothing else for the rest of the day. So
Mhm.
it was fine to do a standby. Now, if I had a 2-year-old with me, like, would I pay, $15 to not have a 2-year-old like whining, on my hip for 2 hours? Yes, 100% yes. So, and like you said, if you're taking, some folks that just don't have stamina to stand in line for 2 hours, absolutely. And I think you bring up a good point. It's choice. Once you get past the philosophy of, does Disney even need to add? All the theme parks have this at this point. It's an option. Six Flags has that. I forget what it's called, Flash Pass.
Mhm.
I mean, everybody's got this at this point, but it is an option. You can not use it. But also I think too, it's just as I think about Genie Plus, and my philosophy on this is kind of changing as times evolve, is that Chapek was talking the other day on the earnings call. So many people are getting this, probably about 50% of the guests. I don't know how close that, how
Mhm.
accurate it is, but if they are, is somebody who is in the parks and like, kind of like you mentioned, like, I don't want to be I don't want to be disadvantaged. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hate to say that I have
Right.
to buy something to be back onto fair, like level playing grounds. But if I'm going to spend all this money on plane tickets and hotels and, fancy meals and stuff like that, am I not going to drop $15 that day to have the most optimal experience in that theme park? Like out of spite, because I'm one of those people. On principle, I will not do things a lot of times, but I don't want to do that to where I'm gonna. And I don't know if it would change my experience or not. Maybe I would save an hour or two. I think I would save time with Genie Plus. I haven't spent enough time with it personally. I'm hearing positive feedback, and it sounds like. Do you think it saved you time? I mean, that's a question. Do you think it made your experience better having it?
I did. I thought it saved me a lot of time, and I don't like at this point my time is more valuable than like $15 to
Right,
me.
that's how you gotta look at what your time's worth, and
Yeah.
especially, the investment you've made traveling to Florida. Like, it's what's my time worth on a Tuesday afternoon at home is not the same as what I've
Mhm.
invested in a 3-hour chunk of time that I get, on a 4-day vacation to Walt Disney World. It's very valuable.
Right. Yeah. Right.
It's very, very good question. Okay. So, let me ask you too about this touring the parks in October, because you were there in late October. What were the crowds
Mhm.
like? Do you remember? Was it, because that's kind of when it really picks up there, right before Halloween? You got food and wine going on. A lot of schools were on fall breaks at that point. Was it manageable? Was it a nut house? What was it like then?
It felt fairly busy. I usually will go between like the second week of December, second to third week of December, and like I don't feel like it was quite as busy as that. Um, but it was manageable. I mean, I you had Genie Plus, so you didn't have to stand in every line. And then like some of the food and wine booths though, the lines were fairly long, like longer than I would have thought. Um, we hit up a lot of those. The one in France, I think, was the longest line I stood in. That one was pretty busy, but for the most part, it was very manageable. I didn't feel like it was overly crowded or anything like that.
Well, plus, I think it's too about perspective. You've been there many times. You were just there in July. It's like, well, if it's crowded, and you've been there recently, I don't have to do that this time. I think it's really, because I'm kind of that way. I can be in a park on a really crowded day and just find like I can watch the movie in France and be happy as anything. Where
Yeah.
some people have to do all the headliners, and I get that. If that's like your only time to go to Epcot and that's the only time in 10 years, I totally understand that. So I think it's all about perspective. Let me ask you too. So speaking of France, this is your first time, I'm guessing, doing Remy at any of the parks. So
Yes.
what'd you think about that? What were your expectations and what were your thoughts?
I don't watch any of like the point of view things on YouTube
Yeah.
before I ride a ride because I want to like experience it like firsthand. So, I avoided spoilers and all of that. And I know it's like the same one that's in Disneyland Paris, but um I went into it knowing nothing. I thought it was a really cute ride. Everybody can enjoy it. There's a little bit of maybe motion sickness kind of thing, but it's not horrible. Like the screens are like, I don't know. If the screens or like simulator things bother you, you probably might want to sit it out, but it's not horrible. The ride itself is very cute, very well done. I really liked it.
Yeah, I did too. And I can't do Star Tours. Flight of Passage
Oh yeah,
makes
I
me
can't
push
either.
me on the
No.
edge. Nope. And Remy, I was okay. I made it through Remy just fine. I think because you're actually physically moving, I think helps for
Hmm.
me. If I'm
Yeah.
physically like moving through places, that makes me better. But those glasses were thick. I mean, those are serious. Well,
Yeah.
it's like Flight of Passage. I mean, they're not little bitty 3D glasses, man, like in Muppet Vision 3D anymore. They're like, wow, they're like a headset. So
Yeah.
they're there for real. I want to ask you another thing too. Just a lot of stuff here because I think it's going to help folks. Before we get into your dining, it says you made breakfast in the villa each morning and you used Instacart to get your food. I get this question all the time about getting groceries and goods delivered to the hotel. Like, how did that work out for you? What was the mechanics of getting it done?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Phone or iPad. You pick out whatever store you want your stuff to come from, and then somebody who works for the app goes and gets it for you. And the hotels are very familiar with this. That like some of them worry about like not being let in by the guards, but
Mhm.
I didn't. I've never had that issue. I've done it several times where order something and then have the people who work for the app bring it in. Um, and the guards don't really give them any problem. They say that you're bringing, an order to a guest of the hotel. They can leave it at bell services too, as long as they're. I don't know if you order alcohol, if they'll hold it if you're not at the
Right.
room.
Yeah. I think
Like
that's
if you're at the park, yeah, yeah. If you're at the park and you order something and there's alcohol, I don't think they can hold it. But I think we were fine because we knew that I think ahead of time, and we only ordered like stuff that was non-alcoholic while we were not going to be there. They'll hold it for you, but they charge like $6 I think if
Mhm.
they hold it and you're not there. Which it's no big deal. It's just like it's just kind of a surprise if you don't know that. So
Which I
it's
totally get. And
yeah.
you know what? Even back in the day, which I didn't know this was like 7-8 years ago when I stayed at Coronado and when I stayed at, I think it was Yacht Club. It's when you stayed at a convention hotel. If you got stuff delivered to Bell Services at a convention hotel, it wouldn't go to normal Bell Services. It would go to like convention Bell Services, and then they would charge you a big fee to retrieve your stuff because of the handling and everything. Because I guess they do that for conventions. They send in a lot of junk ahead of time. Which, I mean, you know what? For something like that, they do. I mean, it's extra work for them, right? I mean, I totally would not, if I'm going to order groceries and they have to handle it, they have to pick up the delivery, they're putting it away. I mean, you're also going to tip the person who's handling your order as well. I mean, obviously, but yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's convenience fee is what it is basically.
Right. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, it gives you options too. What kind of stuff you guys just get, like, for breakfast? You just got like bagels and eggs and stuff like. I mean, you just make biscuits and stuff, that kind of stuff, or what?
Yep, exactly. So eggs, sausage, cheese,
Nice.
that kind of stuff. So bagels. Yeah, we cooked in the room. A couple times we ordered like to go or order ahead from Primo Piatto, went and picked it up and ate in the room.
See, that's what I was going to ask. That's my favorite breakfast sandwich in the whole wide world, right there in your hotel. So that'd be a tough call.
I tried it. Yeah, it was great. I loved it. 2 thumbs up from me.
You probably should not be allowed to get more than 2 of those in a week, though. Probably, I mean, it's like a bartender cutting you off when you've had too many. Like, sir, you've been in here twice in a 7-day window. I cannot let your heart have a third one of those Madame Croques or whatever they're called, because those things are. If you have one of those, you really don't need lunch or dinner. They're so heavy. But oh man,
yep,
those are so good. That's what I love about Walt Disney World. Not good for you, but man, that food's good. Okay, so you went some other places like Beaches and Cream. You did 50s Prime Time, Pizza Rizzo. I went there, and surprisingly, I had a good meal there recently. You mentioned Primo Piatto, Sleepy Hollow, Trattoria Al Forno. So, any highlights for this dining slate here?
Yeah, I want to specifically mention Pizza Rizzo. Just I think like people just kind of scoff at it, but it was actually decent. I hadn't been there in a few years. And the food was hot. It was good. I mean, it's nothing special. It's it looks like microwave pizza, but I feel like it's a little better than that now.
Yeah.
We got a salad from there. It was very, very fresh, very good. They had some alcoholic beverage options that are really nice. Those actually I felt like were good value for the money. 10, 11, $12 they had an Italian margarita. And then like I don't remember what else, a vodka lemonade or something. And then, they had the Peroni beer, which, is like an Italian staple. So it was a nice, like little retreat from the hot weather, while we were, waiting to go into Galaxy's Edge. It was a nice little, it's a little, off the beaten path. Like, I don't know, people I'd say would, walk right by it, but it was a good time there. Like I very, very much enjoyed what we ordered, and it was a nice, cool, air-conditioned space.
That's so funny because on a nice day, but this was back kind of in the boarding group days. So when we were waiting out our boarding group to get called, we would, on a nice day, we'd go to Baseline Tap House and kind of wait it out there outside, just some little finger foods and something to drink. But like you mentioned, on days where it's hot, or the weather wasn't conducive, we'd go to Pizza Rizzo and go upstairs, and there's that wedding reception room. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Upstairs, there's a room that's decorated just like a wedding reception. And I used to DJ wedding receptions forever in college and stuff. And it just cracks me up to go up there because it's air conditioned. Nobody's up there. It's quiet, and you can just chill and play on your phone and ride it out until your boarding group was called. Yeah, we've done that many times, and it's not that bad. I mean, you're right. Is it the greatest pizza in the world? No. I mean, but I got a decent salad, like you said. And I mean, it's pizza. I was hungry. It tasted fine. I mean, geez, I'm going to get another meal in 4 hours. It's like, come on now. Walt Disney World. Let me real quick ask you about Trattoria Al Forno. It's trending up for me. What did you think?
Yeah, that's we usually hit that every other time or so. Last time I was there was December of 2020. Actually, you were there that night with Scott. After the Give Kids the World thing.
Oh my God.
We ran into you like
that night. I was exhausted. That was the night we just went non-stop with the show for Give Kids the World. Yeah, that was crazy. I remember being I remember hardly being there. I was so tired.
Yeah. So I'm my family likes it. We always go there. It's friendly wait staff. Food is always consistently, decent. It, I'm a fan. Like they, it's always no worse than a B plus for me.
Right. And it's usually an ADR that you can get pretty easily. It's right there,
Yeah.
easily accessible on the boardwalk. You can Skyliner over, hop out of Epcot if you're at Epcot. I like it. It's one of my favorite places. So we're almost out of time, but let me ask you this. So you obviously go to Walt Disney World a lot. You're a big fan. Let me ask you just a couple of your favorites. So overall, you could stay at any Walt Disney World resort. We've talked Beach Club, we've talked Riv, we've talked Saratoga Springs, but what's your overall favorite, if you had to pick?
In Walt Disney World, I would say, Boardwalk. Boardwalk's probably my favorite. Yeah.
What makes it stand out over anything else? Or why'd you pick it? Because I do like
Oh, the
Boardwalk.
location. Yeah. Location's great. Now, like, you've got Flying Fish open.
Mhm.
Trattoria Al Forno's right there. They've got that, the ice cream window, the pizza window. So you can't beat the location there, I guess. Like Beach Club I like too. But I stayed a whole week at Boardwalk. And I don't know. I liked the color scheme in the room. The pool was less busy than Stormalong Bay. And then the lobby smells so good. Like when you walk in there, it's like vanilla or cinnamon or something. And yeah,
it's the Boardwalk smell. Yeah, it's weird.
yeah, it's the Boardwalk smell. So yeah, I like going in there.
There's a Riviera smell. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, there is. Yes. Yeah. So I would say I'd say Boardwalk is my favorite.
Okay, so two other things. Okay, what's your favorite restaurant? Is it Boathouse? Is that your overall favorite at Walt Disney World, or is there something else that beats that?
Yeah, I would say Boathouse just because we try to go there every time, and it's always consistently awesome. So I would say Boathouse.
And your favorite attraction? You get one attraction. What is it?
Oh wow, that's a tough one. I
know it's rough, and it could change.
I gotta go probably with the Tower of Terror. Although it's based more on the theming, and like the cast members really used to get into it. Like you'd get a creepy bellhop that would put their face right in the door when they open. It's so well done. The theming and the whole premise behind it. The Rod Serling video. It's just. I just think it's so well done. Yeah.
Good choices. Well, hey, Sarah, thank you for taking the time to kick off another week with us here on the show. It was great. We got to talk Beach Club, Saratoga. We got to talk about some great restaurants. Pizza Rizzo discussion on a Monday. Who'd have thought? It's fun. So, Sarah, thanks again, and I hope you have a great week up in Michigan, and hope to catch you down at Walt Disney World here sometime soon.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Thanks, Mike. Thanks so much.
All righty. Don't forget, today's show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out for all of your Disney trip planning needs, whether you head out to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or even Adventures by Disney. We would love to help you plan that next Disney trip. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. That one extra click really does help us out. So please bookmark it and use it as often as you can. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thanks to all of our patrons for allowing us to put this show out 3 to 4 times a week all around the world. Couldn't do it without you. And our patrons get a kind of a different show. It is different. It's called Mike in the Midwest. You get it every week. And if you'd like to get in on that, just come on over. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Give me a follow on the Instagram and Twitter. I'm at BeOurGuestMike. I'd love to talk to you this week. And subscribe to the show on Facebook and YouTube, and you'll find out every time we go live. You can join in on the conversation, on the chats that we have, and have a good time with that. And this Sunday night, we're going to have our live call-in show, just like the old community check-ins. We're going to be taking your calls from 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. You can give us a call and talk about all the Disney news of the week. You can talk about your recent trip. Whatever you want to talk about, it's fair game. You can join us on Facebook and YouTube. Again, it's this Sunday night. Join us at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Football will not get in your way. It's over. So we'll have a good time with that. So put it on the calendar, put it in your whatever, your planner. And so we'll see you then. All right. Until we get back together again, for Sarah, I'm Mike, wishing you a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Thank you, Sarah. That was awesome. Now I really want to be at Disney Springs, even though that's what I will be doing when I go down for a cheer, because I won't be going to the parks.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. City Works though. It's a must do, huh? You think? Is that good?
Yeah, City, it is. The food's good. You know, they've got stuff for, you know, all kinds of people. You know, kid-friendly things.
Is it kind
You
of like
know,
is it kind of like a sports bar atmosphere? I mean, it's what it looks like.
yes, yeah.
Okay, good.
There's so many TVs, you know, they have a ton of stuff, drinks and things like that. And then, you know, whatever else, like, you know, sodas and stuff like that, you know, they have everything.
God, yeah, because we went to, you know what I really enjoyed? Paradiso, and I know I joked about this time last year, was Paradiso 37. That wasn't bad last year. That's kind of what we did. But yeah, I just want, because we went to Maria and Enzo's with Scott.
Oh yeah.
About a year. I wasn't that big of a fan of. I thought I would really like that place, but it was okay, but I thought I'd fall in love with it, but it didn't hit. All right, maybe do you like that place? Have you been there?
That place I've only read reviews about. And I think it's like hot and cold with people as well. I've never been there. I'm not opposed to trying it. I eventually want to try, you know, every place.
Right, same, and that's why I went there. But
yeah.
I was like, this is gonna be my jam. You know, it's one of those places like I went in like I just know I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna come out of here, everybody's gonna love it. And I mean, it was okay, but we also had a huge group. We had like a group of like 30, and I think when you have like,
wow, yeah,
it's really hard to manage. You know what I'm saying? Like, get everybody the right food at the right time and drinks and stuff. It was kind of a mess, but cool. Yeah. Hey, I know you're at work, so I appreciate your time. And if you ever need anything, give me a yell. This will be out on Monday. So thanks for taking the time. It means a lot.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. It was fun.
I appreciate it, Sarah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
See everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See ya.